over 6 seconds and only one battery. Give me the SRT. It's the last 10.
This is the supercharged Hemi Rumblebee SRT. 0 to 60 in the threes, 777 horsepower.
Yo, what is up, YouTube? So, as you can see, Ram dropped a bomb yesterday, and it was one of the biggest ones they've dropped in a long time. And guess what? It is badass. This happened yesterday, so it's not breaking news. And by all means, you can look it up on YouTube. It's everywhere. Everybody has it. But I wanted to get into a few things that are bothering some people out here and are really taking people off. And I get it and I understand, but let's talk about those things. Everybody's been asking for that street truck, right? Everybody's been asking for a single cab. I've been asking for a single cab, and we're gonna get into that too. Everybody's been asking for that street truck because we see the TRX, we see the RHO, which I think is pretty stupid, but I know why Ram is doing it. They're doing it to compete with the Raptor R and the TRX, and then they're competing with the regular Raptor 3.5 liter EcoBoost in the RHO. I get that. That is what they're targeting, right? They're trying to take those customers away from Ford. And to be quite honest, I think they're becoming a little bit more successful, but not so much in the RHO, because then they rolled out the TRX again, so there's a lot of customers going back for the TRX. So anyway, Ram rolls out the fucking street truck, and you guys saw it yesterday, and that thing is badass to the bone. In my opinion, that is one of the best things that Ram could have done to save the brand. Now, there's a lot of things that people hate about it. There's a lot of things that people love about them. I'm going to get into the things that I feel like are great and bad. So, number one, the first point, they have 3 options. You get the 5.7 entry-level one, and then you can get the 6.4 Apache, and you can get, obviously, the 6.2 in it. That, to me, opens up the market a lot, number one, and it makes it affordable to have this SRT package at a lower cost with the 5.7. Now, when I watched the reveal video yesterday, I was like, man, I better not see a 5.7 e-torque in there, right? Now I'm watching the video and it like transforms. I'm like, man, that thing looks sick. And then he talks about the e-torque, and then Tim Kuniskis says, but only one battery.
And only one battery.
That right there, I knew, boom, e-torque is done, it's gone. They're no longer, are we gonna have e-torque? Yes, it's still in mass production as far as the 5.7 goes. But this means that we're going into that good trajectory of getting away from the e-torque system and the auto stop start system as well. And obviously it doesn't make a lot of power. It's a 395, 410 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 to like, you know, it's all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 is like 6.1 seconds. It's not fast, guys. It's not supposed to be this crazy, stupid fast truck for an entry-level truck. It's just to get you in, right? It's just to get you in the club, per se.
Need for speed.
Because not everybody's going to have that big money to spend on the 6.4 or the 6.2 Hellcat. Get the entry level, and I feel like the entry level one is badass, right? I mean, I think that's a great way to attack the market, and it also, you know, it helps Ram and Stellantis sell this big investment they've put into this already, because they're not going to sell a lot of 6.2s. They're going to probably sell, you know, some 6.4s, but most of the majority are going to buy the 5.7 entry-level Rumblebee because it's more affordable, especially with the car market now. And then you see all the upcharges and all the stupid charges that dealerships and are implementing on these vehicles. Dealerships are going to get these allocations and bump up the price, but that's another point. Then you get the Apache 6.4. I think this, when I saw this, I lost my shit. I was like, fuck yeah, like finally we get the 6.4 truck that we've all been asking for, right? Like we've always said, get rid of that 5.7 with the stupid e-torque and throw a 6.4 in it. So the Apache, for those that don't know, there's a BGE 6.4 and there's an Apache 6.4. The BGE comes in the 2500 Rams and all that other good stuff. The Apache comes into 392 Scat Packs, Chargers, Challengers. That's where the 392 comes from, Durangos, all that. So that's the engine that they put into this truck. Now, I feel like that is a perfect middle ground for this trifecta of sport trucks. And then you get finally into the big bad boy, which is a 6.2 Hellcat supercharged 777 horsepower Rumblebee, and that thing is a monster. I think that thing is a beast. Right? At the end of the day, it is a badass truck. Like, there is no way around it. That motherfucker's bad. I feel like this is the way that Ram finally shuts us all up, because this is what it is. We've been asking for a sport truck for the longest time, and this is the way they shut us up. This is literally it. They've put all this stuff together fast, and they said, here, shut up already. Here's what y'all want. You can have it. So this is why they're doing it. Now, everybody's biggest issue is, why is it a quad cab? Why are all three quad cabs? Why are there no single cabs? Why are they not crew cabs? All right. So number one, if you guys remember, the SRT 10 came in two configurations. You had the quad cab 4-door version, and then you had the single cab. Obviously, we're not going to get a single cab. Tim Kuniskis has already said that he's not going to have a single cab Ram truck roll out before this big announcement. He said that, flat out said, like, there's not a big market for it. And everybody's going to be like, bro, like, what do you mean? There's a huge market. Everybody's going after the F-150s. Everybody's always driving the F-150s and making them fast and this and that, and they're all single cab. Yeah, to the people that race like us, to the people that are in that niche, sure, a lot of people are buying F-150 trucks, but it's not what you guys think. As a matter of fact, in the announcement press that he had, or that big event that he had where he announced the Rumblebee, Tim actually said that single cab trucks only make 3% of the sales. 3% is nothing, guys.
Now, remember what I said about the proportions. You gotta get up and look at this car from a distance and really soak in the proportions of this thing. Keyboard warriors out there that are gonna bitch. You didn't give me the regular cab, I'm not buying it. You wanna know the facts? Here's the facts. They're bitching, they're typing, they ain't buying. Yes, a regular cab would have been lighter. It would have been 300 pounds lighter than this. But this isn't a race car. This is a full-size truck that weighs 6,000 pounds.
So Cali Boy Kev, shout out to him. If you don't follow him on Instagram, OG on here on YouTube. But I'm gonna quote Cali Boy Kev. I'm gonna quote Kevin on this one. He said that Midnight Performance, and everybody knows Midnight Performance ordered 250 turbo kits, right? I don't know if it was for the whole year or whatever it was. 250 turbo kits, right? If you think about it, that's 250 trucks. Obviously, that doesn't make up all the market of F-150s. I get that. But 250, right? Because everybody wants the sport truck. Everybody that races wants that single cab sport truck. 250 is not a lot. It is not a lot for Stellantis to receive back their money that they've invested into this new project. It just really isn't. 250 trucks is nothing. It probably doesn't make up 3% of the market at all. So yes, sure, you do have people that buy F-150 single cabs not to race, to daily drive them, this and that. I'm pretty sure it's more in the thousands. I get that. But again, it's not enough for them to receive their investment back, and that's where we need to see it. So that is why they probably don't roll out a single cab at all. Now, I agree. It should have been a crew cab. 100% it should have been a crew cab. Why? Because you open the market up more, and you don't limit people just to having a quad cab. Now, I think they probably said, you know what, people want a sport truck, so we're going to give them a sport truck. So it has to be lighter, right, than the TRX. The TRX is probably a good, I don't know, 300 to maybe 500 pounds heavier than this truck. You know, and it's a lot of weight, obviously. So obviously to make it a little bit faster, right, because I know they wanted to hit the 170 mark. So to make it faster, they needed to cut weight. So how about making it a quad cab? So they invested in, obviously, the suspension and all that. Obviously, they didn't invest too much on the engine because the engine has just been, you know, transitioned into this truck. So now I think people would have been a lot more content had it been a crew cab. But even then, you would have had the naysayers saying, oh, well, it should have been a single cab. You know, you can never please everybody. And they're going to talk and talk and talk. And why is this? Why is that? They're never going to be happy. The keyboard typers, they're never going to be happy. Nobody's ever going to be happy. Would I want a single cab? 100%. That is me, though. There are very few of us that want a single cab, right? People that have 4th gen single cab trucks want a 5th gen single cab. 1,000%. They can bitch and moan all day long, and they're not going to go out there and buy the truck. And who's losing at the end of the day? It's Ram. It's Stellantis, right? And then everybody's like, ha, look, see, Dodge is going broke. But do I agree that they should have made it a crew cab? 100%. Why? Because you get more space out of a crew cab, obviously. You get more towing capacity, I think. And, you know, I think the way Ram saw it is, you know what, again, cut back weight. Let's make it a little bit faster because it's going to be a little bit less weight than obviously the TRX. So that's it. That's pretty much it, guys. I think this is great. I personally think that Ram is knocking it out of the park. And people are gonna be like, well, Ford already does that. Ford already supercharges their trucks, blah, blah, blah. They're not the first ones to have a muscle truck. That is incorrect. Ram is the first ones to have a muscle truck. And I'll explain why. Ford and Shelby are two different entities. Do they work together? On 1000%, they do. But it's not Ford releasing these things, it's Shelby releasing these things. It's two different entities, and that Shelby's the one rolling these things out. They don't come from Ford. Ford doesn't make a muscle truck or a sport truck. They just make an F-150 single cab or an F-150, or actually they do make the sport truck, which is their Lobo, which is their 5.0 Coyote truck, which makes really good power, by the way. And I feel like that is where the 5.7 is going to be competing in. That's where they kind of put the niche on the market for the sport truck, where the base truck is at. That's where it's going to be competing. Does it compete power-wise? No, the Coyote makes more power than the 5.7. I get that. You don't have to explain the manual to me. I know this shit more than you think. But that is where the niche is at. Sport truck Lobo F-150 versus the entry-level Rumblebee truck. And that's just what it is. So I feel like that's where, again, Tim and the team are tackling that, obviously making it affordable. Now, if you look at a brand new Lobo F-150, they're around $60,000 plus dealer markups. You're probably paying around $75,000 at the end of the day. That's why I feel like we're going to start getting into the 5.7. That's where I feel like the pricing point is going to be for the 5.7 entry-level Rumblebee. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way the car market is. Do I think it's going to be $56,000 or $60,000 MSRP and you'll get it for that price no matter what? It's going to be very hard. Again, you have to find a dealership that'll honor that. There's dealerships that honor that. When I ordered my Ford Bronco, at that time we had a chip shortage because after the COVID stuff, and you know, everybody was charging $20,000-$30,000 over sticker price on the Ford Bronco Wild Tracks, and I was able to get mine for MSRP, and they honored it. So it just depends on who you go to and who are you willing to go through, because these dealerships are just getting needy at this point. I mean, there's been lawsuits everywhere from different manufacturers on dealerships because they're getting real stupid, and that's what's fucking up the market right now. Yeah, but that's gonna be pretty much it for the video, guys. I just wanted to get on here and, you know, kind of follow through with the whole big shebang and announcement. I think it's dope. Yeah, and people complaining, man, seriously, guys, like, if you're complaining about this shit, are you really gonna go out there and buy that 6.2 truck? No. And you can't sit there and say, oh, I'm not buying it because I don't like it. If you can't fucking afford it, you shouldn't say shit, all right? Like, you shouldn't be speaking on something you can't afford if you're not gonna be able to buy it anyway. So what was the old Breezy thing? Like, you know, how can you hate from outside of the club? You can't even get in.
I don't see how you can hate from outside of the club. You can't even get in.
Like, that's literally it. Like, if you're not going to go out there and afford this shit, or if you're not able to afford this shit and go out there and buy this shit, like, don't even speak on it. Like, you shouldn't even have a fucking opinion. So, you know, for everybody that is going to buy it, like, man, you're going to get a badass truck, you know. Doesn't matter what people say. Is it a garage queen? 100% probably. If people are going to probably daily it, it's up to them. I wouldn't daily it because it's a quad cab, and I've daily a quad cab, and it sucks. But if I were to allocate either an Apache 6.4 or the 6.2, it's definitely sitting in my garage because I'm not going to daily that truck at all. But I think it's a badass thing that Dodge finally, or, you know, Ram gave us a muscle truck, SRT, you know, pretty much a lowered, you know, Hellcat truck or TRX truck, quad cab. Shorter bed, by the way. It doesn't have the quad cab long bed, 6.4 long bed. It has this 5.7 long bed. So the 5.7 short bed. So I think it's gonna look tiny. It's gonna look kind of weird. It's probably gonna have to grow on some people. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I just want to get on here and blab a little bit. I really appreciate it. Remember, merch is on the website. This is no longer available. This is still available. I really appreciate everybody for the support. You guys have been awesome. Yeah, guys, I couldn't appreciate you guys more. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna catch you on the next one. God bless y'all. Peace. Also, I forgot to mention, guys, GM just got rid of their V8 in their trucks, didn't they? If I'm not mistaken, because they've been having issues with that 6.2 a ton. So they got rid of that 5.3. So GM gets rid of the 5.3 V8 in their trucks. They have that 2.3, 2.7 liter EcoBoost engine or something like that. Turbo is V6 engine. So they get rid of that truck or that engine. They've been having a shit ton of issues with the 6.2. This is Ram's market now. And sure, Ford can and will compete 100%. But this is their market, I feel like. So, yeah, one last thing that I had to say.